This is the 2021 Mercedes-AMG GT43. When you hear AMG, the first thing you think is power. The second thing you think is power. And the third thing you think is punching the other car in the nose. But this is the AMG 43, so it doesn't have a lot of power. Is it still an AMG? Let's find out. For most of its existence, including after Mercedes bought them, AMG has just been a Mercedes tuning shop. You would hand them a perfectly fine Benz and they would hand you back a much more powerful AMG. They never built their own cars until a decade ago, they did. Starting with the SLS Gullwing, then came the two-door GT, and now we have the four-door GT. True, it's just a modified E-Class, but it's a heavily modified E-Class. They've even gone so far as to swap out the trunk for a hatch. So why would AMG go through the trouble to build their own car and then not give it a typical AMG engine? Because there's lots of competition, right? You've got the base Porsche Panamera, you've got the BMW 840 Grand Coupe, you've got the Audi A7 as opposed to the more powerful S7 or RS7, and you've even got the entry-level Tesla Model S. And so what we see is there is a market for big, sexy, underpowered cars just like this. This, again, it's heavily influenced by the Porsche Panamera, and yet they did such a good job. I think it's such a tremendous looking car. First of all, you want your AMGs to look aggressive. We'll take a look at this grille and headlight combo, right? This like toothy mouth, these angry eyes coming back, these wheels, they look great. They're also 21 inches. The bodywork, the surfacing on this car. You could teach a design class on, how to shape metal using the AMG GT. It's that good. I love the C-pillar. It's just elegant. And then you get out back and, it's just a big, sexy rear end. I see a little bit of Porsche 928, and that's a good thing. I'm inside the GT43. First of all, it's quite nice in here. Second of all, it's an interesting mix of Mercedes stuff and AMG stuff. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. AMG stuff, the steering wheel. This screams AMG, says so right here. It's a nice sporty wheel. It's got the dimpled tennis racket handle leather. This is what you'd expect to find in a sports car. Then there's this central section here, which has a lot of secondary controls, lots of metal. Then we have these seats. They are massively bolstered sports seats, quite unlike the luxurious seats you would find in a normal Mercedes, but they will hold you in place for sporty driving, which is great. The Mercedes parts of the car, it's the leather, the metal, and the wood. First of all, this beautiful open pore wood that kind of spreads out all the way across the doors. That's great. The metal work is really nice, and then you have leather covering almost every surface. But the central focus of the cabin has to be this giant touchscreen. The system is called MBUX, Mercedes-Benz User Experience. The depth of functionality this has could be its own separate video. However, I just want to show you that since this is an AMG, we have two AMG specific pages. There's a track page and there's also an AMG performance page. This car has a comfort mode, sport, sport plus, and an individual mode. So I can set up each part of the car the way I like it. As far as behind the front seats goes in this cabin, the rear seats are pretty big, however, there's only two of them. This is a 4-passenger vehicle, not a 5-passenger car. That said, because of the hatchback configuration, there's a lot of room for luggage. And now the part you've all been waiting for, performance. I used to say the best handling sedan in the world was the Alfa Romeo Giulia, but then I drove the AMG GT43, and then I drove the AMG GT63S. AMG has done it. They have figured out a way to make a big, heavy, 4-door sedan drive like a 2-door sports car. That is the reason why they built this thing. The problem becomes what's under the hood. This is the 43, therefore it has a 3-liter, 48-volt mild hybrid inline-6 that makes 362 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, which is not very much for an AMG. So in terms of straight line performance, 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds matches a Volkswagen Golf R. In terms of efficiency, This thing gets 20 miles per gallon around town, which isn't horrible for something this large, and it gets 25 miles per gallon on the freeway. As far as safety goes, we don't know. Nobody has crash tested one of these, so we honestly have no idea. Now that said, generally speaking, Mercedes products are very safe. Does this car come with a whole ton of standard active safety features? Yes. So how much? Well, the base price of this thing is $90,000. And please remember that the AMG GT and the Porsche Panamera are the real competitors, and they're much more expensive than the competition. And this is $1,000 more than the Porsche. Now, as it sits, you're talking $108,000, which means for $500 more, you could get an AMG E63S. Remember, that has over 600 horsepower. So in terms of value, this is a hard pill to swallow. If there's one thing I want you to know about the 2021 Mercedes-AMG GT43, it's that, yes, it is an AMG. Now look, the definition of what makes an AMG, it changed at some point, right? They're no longer just tuner cars with too much horsepower that are only good in a straight line. Design matters, luxury matters, handling matters, and I will stand by my claim that the GT 4-door is the best handling sedan on planet Earth. Also, 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds is quick by any definition, despite the horsepower rating under the hood. If you can swallow that $108,000 price tag, you're gonna have yourself a pretty cool AMG. To check out the latest rankings, go to motortrend.com/cars.